Go. Hey, welcome to the coldest edition of Covers This Puck Props in the history of the show. It is minus 25 locally. We are chilly. 14 year
Really?
NHL vet
Where
Carlo
are you?
Colaiacovo, presented by Sports Interaction. What a board last night or today, waking up to see the Leafs just absolutely collapse, but the Jets
Our
just
favorite
beat.
play.
I was so angry. I was so angry when they gave up one late in the first. I
Yeah.
was so angry when they gave up one 30 seconds into the third. But like they do, they held on. 13 straight cashes for that Jets team total
Yeah.
under 2.5.
Never in doubt. Never in doubt. That team total underplay that we're riding now. Get this streak. It's 33 straight games right now.
For under 3.5.
Under 3 goals. And
No, 3 or fewer.
That's what I mean. 3 or
Okay,
fewer goals,
yeah.
33 and a half. And then it's 13 consecutive under 2.
Yeah.
And 19 of the last 20 under 2 goals.
Yeah, it's been silly. Like we saw.
Put our kids through college this streak, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Hellebuck jumps into the betting favorite for the Vezina. Yeah. Winnipeg, in some spots, jumps to the betting favorite to win the cup. Like that's they got Kyle Connor back. It's getting like you look at that team, it's pretty dirty. Like
it is, and you know they're a team built for success in the playoffs too. So look out for the Jets, man. We've been pumping this train for over a month now.
Yeah, some books you can find. I mean, team. I think the odds for Canadian team to win the cup. I think with the play of Vancouver, obviously, and now Winnipeg, I think there's a better angle. Even the play of Edmonton of late. Calgary starting to come up into a playoff spot. Everybody but the Leafs. You were talking to them today on the show, and it's just so funny. And your take is so funny on them. Like, why are you guys getting so riled up? Like, did you really think like they weren't going to do this? Like, were you surprised at this?
Yeah, team? Like, are we surprised they're this bad defensively? I mean, they have one really good defenseman on their team, so everything that they've been able to patch work themselves through to this point is catching up to them now. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They're a good team, but they're a good team that is not good defensively.
Yeah.
Simple
Mitch Marner coming out saying, "Yeah, everything's all right." Like, come on, bud. Like, I know.
Look, I have a lot of respect for Mitch, and I understand why he says that because he's trying not to make things worse than they actually are. But
like, be real with yourself. Like,
that's what I mean.
Show some passion in losing and giving up 3 straight goals in the third period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Montreal, New Jersey. There's 3 strange games today. And I still think at this point without Hughes, and just for what they are the entirety of the year, I still think New Jersey's slightly overrated. But let's go. Montreal money line. Plus 170. This is the best price on the board at Sports Interaction. Seen as short as plus 150. It's probably not going to play it at plus 150. Plus 160 is probably my cutoff. But New Jersey without Hughes has a negative goal differential, allowing 34 shots per game and 3.5 goals per game. 1, 2, and 1 over that stretch. Montreal's recent stretch isn't bad. Last 5 games. They've only lost 1 game in regulation, and they haven't lost by more than a goal. Sam Montembeault has been good. Goal saved above expected, better than Igor Shesterkin. 39 saves on 41 shots versus the Oilers in his last. And if we could see Vitek Vanacek, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see Dawes. I want to see Vitek Vanacek here and his .882 save percentage and .877 save percentage over his last 7. You've seen a lot of Montreal games. You've seen this team well. They aren't playing terrible. And like I said, New Jersey still being overrated without Hughes. Of the 3 dogs tonight, which is Montreal, Detroit, and Chicago, you give Montreal probably the best shot to be competitive tonight?
I do, just because, look at the game Montreal's coming off of. They beat the Colorado Avalanche, right? They're riding a high. And you talked about all the 1-goal games they find themselves in. They compete. They have not a lot of talent, but enough talent up front to stay competitive. You talk about all the production they get from their defense. leading the league in goals scored by defensemen are the Montreal Canadiens. And I've been really impressed with Sam Montembeault this year. I mean, he's a big reason why, you know, the Montreal Canadiens are where they are in the standings, have been winning hockey games. I think he's taking the opportunity of an open number one spot and run with it. I think he's the number one guy in Montreal, even though they have two other guys there in Jake Allen and Caden Primo, who they spot in every once in a while. But I really like what Sam Montembeault is. And I just think that in New Jersey, like, they're a vulnerable team. They're missing some good players. They're not getting great goaltending. And I think this is absolutely a matchup that Montreal can take advantage of.
Yeah, their three best shooters in terms of shot attempts per 60, all not in this game, in Dougie Hamilton, Jack Hughes, and can you name the third?
Meyer?
Yeah, Timo Meyer.
Yeah.
So, like, those are big names to be missing offensively.
Yeah.
So let's get a little this plus 170. I think this shortens up as well. And if Vitek Vanacek does go, that will shorten up, I believe.
So help me understand something. Rich on the chat says Montreal PL away. What does that mean? What's PL?
14-6 puck line. I'm guessing you're saying puck line. Montreal puck line away is 14, or puck line away is 14-6. Puck line at home 2-18.
Ah, okay. So
But
Montreal the puck line.
The puck line's different. The puck line, he's basically saying the 1.5, but the puck line also doesn't indicate whether it's -1.5 or +1.5. It's just puck line. So there's a big difference between -1.5. So away, they're probably +1.5 every time, and that's why you're seeing 14-6 situation. So plus 170. We're going straight money line on this. I did see the +1.5 about -140.
Yeah, it is -140. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, jumping on that. And then if you've watched Montreal, I mean, Montembeault's been good. Like Jake Allen and those guys, they're busy in net. They give up a lot of shots. And we're going David Savard. First time in a long time, over 2.5 block shots, -115. Montreal allows the most shots on net since January 1st at 38.4.
Wow.
That's a 7-game stretch. Yeah, Savard leads the team in blocks per 60, but that's priced in. Still like the situation for block shots. Savard is one of the best shot blocking mentalities, but like, explain to me, how are guys better than others in this underrated skill? Like, how do you go out and find guys who are block shots, not just guys who can play heavy minutes, who just kind of find themselves getting in the way of a few pucks?
Well, you ask how do you go find them. I don't know if you go out and find them. They kind of just
I mean, when you're betting, like when you're betting and looking
at okay. So when you're betting them, ideally you want to focus on guys that kill penalties, right? Because that's the mentality of a penalty killer, you know, sacrificing your body, playing tough in front of the net, blocking shots, and making sure you take a hit to make a play. And every time I think about David Savard blocking shots, I go back to that one highlight reel in Tampa Bay where he had like 4 block shots in that one shift. And I think he actually broke his hand on that or got injured, missed the next game. But, you know, you look at guys that are big, that play big, and that, you know, sort of have that rugged look to them. He's got the beard. He's got, you know, the body language of a guy that just is rough and tough and block shots. And so I always love when you find these markets because it's a pretty fun market to follow.
Yeah, and Podigen says he's on Gooley block shots. That was another one I was looking at, 2.5. They're priced for the rated that they block shots. They're priced perfectly in that situation. But both of those guys have spots where they could come away with. Like if you're a laddering guy, this could be a spot where you could ladder some block shots because both of those guys have situations where Savard's on the top penalty kill, Gooley's on the second one. But what do you say? You're on the D bench and usually someone take 3 in one shift and he comes back to the bench. What do you say to him when he gets there?
Oh, you're loving it in the moment, but then afterwards when he's on the bench, you're laughing about it. You're like, yeah, man, I can't believe you did that. And he's just hunched over in pain, and you're just like, oh yeah, way to take that for the team, bud. Yeah.
But like for some of those guys, that's it. Like that's their contribution. Like that's how They're not out there doing
That's
the
the
handshake line.
camaraderie that you build, right? And that's something the next day when you're watching it on the video clips, the coach points out and says, you know,
Here's
I know he
Carlo
probably,
taking one in the nads for
yeah,
the team.
I know this guy probably didn't get a star of the game, but we got to give him props. And when that happens, you know, again, it builds credibility, you know, amongst your teammates too, right? Not that some guys need it or don't, but it's also a recognition on the little things you need to do sometimes to win hockey games.
All right, Savard over 2.5 block shots, minus 115 in there. Next game, just talking about it, Detroit, Florida. Obviously, Florida's in a good spot here to win, but I mean, Alex Leon's coming in. He is confirmed that I see, but I don't see any props across the board anywhere for him. But this is a spot where Alex Leon could easily stop 31 plus pucks tonight. Detroit, 34 shots per game since Christmas. 30th in Corsi for percentage at 5-on-5 since December 1st in place Florida, who's second in Corsi for percentage. Now, to not make that sound like a dork and pulling out my calculator, what Corsi for percentage is, basically, it's just shot attempt differential. How many shot attempts they get versus them.
Okay.
People say it's a metric in possession. The more possession you have, the more shot attempts you're getting. I don't think that's a great way
It
to say it.
sounds nerdy though.
It does. So that's for sure it sounds dirty.
Yeah.
And then I think that's the only reason you don't want to say it. So I'm trying to bring it down to another level.
You know what the thing about Corsi was? Corsi was something that people started to identify like in the later part of my career.
Yeah.
And I actually had like really, really good Corsi numbers. And I'm thinking to myself, because somebody would always show me it like either during the season or at the end of the season. I'm like, well, crap, if teams are focusing so much on those numbers, why the hell aren't teams signing me later in my career if those are the numbers they're looking for?
Oh, I would have loved to do that resume. Oh, look at Carlo here. Fourth in the league in Corsi for percentage.
You finding it?
No, look how excited you are about it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had a really high one.
Yeah, you had block shots, and I mean, you had hands. You were an offensive guy. Like, it's funny. Like, off track here, you were a guy who could contribute, play PP1 constantly. Over your career, like, how did you have to change your game, like to get minutes to stay in the lineup and stuff like that?
Well, look, I always prided myself in being a very smart player, and a player that you could trust in, situations that needed it. I was a really good skater early on in my career. Obviously, the later in my career, I had knee problems, so I lost a little bit of speed and quickness, but I never lost my hockey sense. I was really good at moving the puck, really good at making small little puck plays, really good at breaking the puck out, really good at transitioning the puck. Like that's, what I prided myself in. And then because, you fell into, a lower role, which was a bottom six, bottom pair role, you kind of had to tell yourself that you had to limit the mistakes. So a lot of my focus was just trying to play a clean hockey game, knowing that, in the time that I'm out there and playing against third and fourth lines, it's about clean executions, fine details of the game, good communication with your partner, and moving the puck. Trying to create offense.
So the lower your ice time goes, the less mistakes obviously you can make.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wild. That's
absolutely
terrifying. Well,
it is.
But it's a terrifying profession.
It's a tough way to play, man. It's a really, really tough way to play because I felt like I was able to do more. I knew I was able to do more. I did it when I went to play in Europe. In Europe, when I went to play, I was a point a game player again. I was playing 20 plus minutes a night. I was playing all situations. And, the problem is with the NHL is that, the longer you play, the more they tend to move on from you, right? Yeah. They want that they want to give that new player the new chance and the new opportunity. And that became very frustrating, man. Trust me.
No, it sounds like a tough way to.
You're about to go on a shift because it's your turn to go out and a penalty gets taken and you're like, oh my god, here we go. I got to sit another 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Agneberg.
Yeah, pretty much. So.
Speaking of Europe, Chicago Blackhawks are playing tonight versus Buffalo. And last night, like if you thought there was going to be goals in Chicago versus San Jose, you were disappointed. I don't know how you bet anything with Chicago. I don't know how you take a single over in their situation.
Yeah.
And I'm bouncing around with stuff here, but I think the under 6 minus 105 is a play here. I think if it gets any shorter and you have a book like Sports Interaction where you can get a flat number, Chicago team total 2, where you're pushing on the 2, is plus 110.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a spot where I think neither team, we saw it with the San Jose Buffalo game. That game was 1-0 kind of through the majority of the game and then kind of opened up with an empty net, finished 3-0. Since Bedard's been out, Chicago has 8 goals in 5 games, exactly 1 regulation goal in 4 straight games. If you could name me their top line right now, I'll make you a $50 bet for free.
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. So, what's the guy's name? Donato is one of them. Am I right? Wow. Okay. Kurashev is definitely one of them.
Yeah, he's the pivot.
Wow. Where's Donato playing? Are you going to answer?
Playing on the 4th line with Boris Patchuk and Zach Sanford.
Oh, Ren Pitlick. I know Ren Pitlick is on the top line. I remember seeing that the other day.
No,
I don't know who the other guy is.
Taylor Radish.
Wow. That's tough.
Well,
Jason Dickinson isn't playing the time. They just signed him to a $4.5 million contract for 2 years.
Georgetown boys second line center.
Wow.
That team's deep down the middle, bud. That team is deep down the middle.
Very deep, yeah.
But Buffalo's not playing bad. I mean, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's been all right. 2.44 goals against since Christmas. Their games, they don't really run up games. Like they're a team that consistently plays down to competition. Chicago is 0-7 on the back end of a back-to-back, but Buffalo has not won back-to-back home games all year. That is
so something's got to break today.
That is bad that Buffalo's not won 2 consecutive home games all year.
Yeah.
So on this side, do you like – I know I put in the under 6 at minus 105. Would you rather the Chicago team total at plus 110 at a flat 2 or the 1.5? The 1.5 is plus 165.
Yeah.
Or the full game under 6 at minus 105.
Well, they've scored 1 goal in 4 straight games.
Well, they get the extra goal because of the shootout.
Yeah, they got the extra goals of the shootout. So I think you see value there, but they've also been under the total in 7 of their last 8 games.
Yeah.
So I think you could, I mean, obviously more value is under 1.5, but you know how you could lose on those on just like, a mercy game, 5-1. Next thing you know, there's a sloppy goal.
1.5 stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. 1.5 tough. I'd probably feel safer going with a 2 flat because at least if they do get that second goal, it's not a loss. But I think I would feel safer going on the under here. I mean, look, Buffalo has the offensive talent, but as I just pointed out, Chicago finds themselves competing and battling in these low-scoring games. So, to expect both of these teams to combine to score 7 goals, I don't know. Yeah, right? I don't see it happening.
Buffalo 4-1. It's there's a lot where Buffalo.
What about Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen shutout? Well, that's got to pay like plus 2,000, no?
No. We were looking like a regular game's like 10-1.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant.
Yeah, 1,000, and then so this is probably like 650. I mean, Buffalo's like a minus 350 favorite. It's insane. Under, plus 550 for the Chicago shutout.
So Rich H on the chat says, watch out for Soderblom. He gives up 4. Take the puck line.
Is that who we got for sure?
Okay, but even if he gives up 4 and Chicago only scores 1.
Yeah, gives up 4 is fine. Yeah, I still think
we're still under the total here.
I still think I'm not running out to get the puck line that's currently minus 110.
Yeah.
I can get the under 6, which I still think both can happen at a better price. there.
And the thing is, too, just based on what you just said, like Chicago can easily win this game too. Like,
Whoa, there's a hot take. Buffalo's not great.
No, that's what I mean. Like Buffalo's not great. I wouldn't say they're not great. They're not trustworthy, right? To lay that type of juice on them.
No.
Yeah, they should win the game, but it's hockey. We've seen crazier things happen.
Yeah, it is a different. They've been line juggling a lot.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because I read this from a Buffalo Bills report. But isn't there a travel advisory in Buffalo today?
Oh, not sure.
I believe so. Like so you know how many fans are actually going to be in the stands for this game?
All right, so let's say this: if nobody wants to be there, the edge is on the under.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it doesn't open up. Like
yeah.
All right.
Brad Armstrong says that there is a travel ban.
So we could make all these bets just like last week, and all of a sudden the game's canceled. I'm still angry about that.
I don't think the game will get canceled because both teams are there, right?
Like Chicago was in Chicago last night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they got into Buffalo last night after the game.
Oh, okay. There you go.
We're not flying in this morning, so both teams are there. I mean, they could walk to the rink to get to the game. The hotel's right across the street, so I don't think it'll hurt the players. I just think. I don't know. And Stir DeMar says Chicago is an under team. So I think the safer bet is to go the total on the game under.
Oh, both teams have been profitable on the under. They're combined 35 and 49 over under on the year. Yeah. So I think the under is
actually it's growing on me. I'm really starting to like this play. The under.
Growing on you. There we go. Under 6. And we got some early games. So we don't have to wait. We don't have to get late sleep with those damn West Coast games.
No kidding.
No kidding for a guy who starts a radio show at 6:00 in the morning. Yeah. But let's go. Montreal. Money line plus 170. It was on Anaheim last night. It was 1-0 for the entirety of the game. They got blanked. But I don't mind that sometimes. Let's go. Savard over 2.5 block shots, minus 115. Then we're waiting for Alex Leon for his saves marker. We're going to hit anything at 30.5 and hit the over. Hopefully we can get a number there. And then Chicago Buffalo under 6 minus 105. As I was thinking about old Savard, when you were at the former Bell Center, when you had to go to Montreal and they had to put a French twist on your name when they announced your name.
Yeah.
Do you remember how it went?
No, I honestly don't. I honestly think they said Colaiacovo or something like that. I don't know. I don't recall, but it definitely wasn't right.
Thanks, Bell Center. Yeah. Awesome. All right, pal. We'll be back here tomorrow doing the same thing, 10 o'clock, same time, bigger slate, but let's do that. That's what we got. This is NHL Puck Prop, brought to you by Covers, presented by Sports Interaction. We'll see you back here tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Let's get some winners tonight. Ciao.